Since the pandemic forced us to transfer monthly meetings to Zoom, we are delighted to meet up with old and new friends again. Planning for tonight started months ago. Originally it was to be a small gathering to celebrate me getting an MBE. But so then, I'm still a bit overwhelmed by it all, but anyway, then as I don't get out often when organising this, I thought we'll push the boat out and do something just a wee bit bigger. The charity supports patients living with ME, fibromyalgia and long COVID. And although there are distinct differences, there are overlapping symptoms. And as research can show us high rates of misdiagnosis, and many of our members have a dual diagnosis of ME and fibromyalgia. But the same skills are needed in managing the clinical concerns. So my role in the charity is to organise events, and tonight is to say thank you to all who keep the charity afloat and hold the same passion and vision and are there for me every step of the way. When I received the letter from the Cabinet Office in London last May, I didn't know where to put myself. It stated this honour was for services to people with myalgic encephalomyelitis, their carers and family members. So it is very welcome that the government actually used the correct name for the disease and not the misleading chronic fatigue add-on. If only this was just about fatigue. I've yet to find out who all the kind people are who took the time and effort to put my name forward and details of my work, and nobody will own up. There you go, I'd kill them. So where do I even start to extend my heartfelt gratitude to my husband, son and mum, who's here tonight, for their unwavering support and encouragement, to the army of supporters and the dedicated members who fundraise to keep the charity afloat. You know who you are. To the committee members, both past and present, who bring skills I don't have to enable the charity to forge ahead in our attempts to help others. And to the advocates and charities around the world who have sent messages of congratulations. When one has success, we all celebrate. To those medical professionals here tonight who are doing everything they can to help us and to educate others in the profession who, let's say, are often less understanding of our plight. And to a powerful American advocate called Colleen Stackel, whose work I had admired from afar for many years, and she took the time to write a whole blog on my work then and that of the charity. The blog is called View from the Trenches, and I'd thoroughly recommend everyone to follow her words of wisdom. And to our medical and scientific advisors, in particular Dr. Weir, who has made a massive effort to be with us this evening and has served thousands of desperate patients in Northern Ireland over many, many years. This journey has been a truly humbling experience. So from where I'm standing at my pulpit tonight, this MBE has been hard-earned by us all. So people asked, why did I spend 12 years from getting just a virus to plan and scheme to form a charity from my sickbed? The Discover ME film will explain shortly. And I must add here, I have seen the NHS at its best in giving care when it was needed to my family members. But way back 24 years ago this month, little did I know why I was being sent from pillar to post and nobody knew anything about ME. Until I learnt the history of the disease and how it was, just about still is, controlled by a powerful psychiatric lobby and recently described as one of the greatest medical scandals of the 21st century. During that first torturous decade trapped in my bed, I had a burning thought I couldn't shift. This cannot be right, and somebody has got to do something. There's no treatment and no education for healthcare providers just dismissal and belief. And I don't have the words to describe the wounds of that disbelief when I was at my most vulnerable. But through that emotional pain, I have learnt the power of the words, I believe you, and how we as a charity can now give that gift of hope to others. So some of our old-timers here tonight, sorry to call you that, will remember the days we had to collect £1 off everyone to pay for room hire for our monthly meetings, and how Mum, who's here, used to sneak in a box of biscuits as we couldn't afford hotel prices. But that's for there. Number 3, she ensured nobody ever left without having a nice cup of tea. So little did we know the charity would grow, and we'd end up working alongside global organisations like World ME Alliance. So then 2 years ago, I was asked to do a Zoom for some patients who had had fairly mild cases of COVID. And it came as no surprise, some were not recovering. And their symptoms were strikingly similar to ME and or fibromyalgia. It was then I met Rebecca Logan, who before a mild COVID infection in 2020 was a hard-working mum, nurse and keep fit instructor, but is now 3.5 years left mostly bed and wheelchair bound. Unfortunately, she's unable to join us this evening to tell her identical story to mine, even including travelling to Germany for experimental treatment, as I did nearly 15 years ago. The image on the right shows how I still spend the majority of my life, and it's horrific to watch history repeat itself with Rebecca and millions like her. I had added an extra slide, and it was a patient who wanted to come here tonight but had booked under a healthcare professional place. Such was her desperation. So I was speaking to her on email, and this is what she said. She said, I wanted to attend except I'm bedbound and my GP is offering no help. I feel abandoned, and attending would have given me some light at the end of the tunnel. And another young doctor who contacted me and was devastated after a worsening of his condition as a result of being told to push through the fatigue at a long COVID clinic. So if the powers that be hadn't dropped the ball in 2019 in Northern Ireland, these patients and thousands more would be in a much better position and have received safe and proper self-management advice of post-viral conditions. So finally, thank you to our expert speakers tonight who are on the same mission, and thank you for being on the right side of history. I invite you to watch Discover ME.
My name is Joan. I am a mother, a wife and a daughter. My world was always one of vibrant health, a happy family life and with a career I love. But in 1999, I was plunged into a world I never knew existed, and I was stripped of everything I held precious. Overnight, I went from living life to the full to being rendered bedbound. There was no warning and no time to prepare for the nightmare ahead. I woke up with what felt like a flu, and I had no reason to believe it wouldn't resolve in a few days. But as the months passed by without improvement, and routine blood tests came back normal, I was told it was just a virus. I felt nauseated, dizzy, and so weak I had to be carried to the bathroom. My limbs felt too heavy to even turn in bed. I felt chilled, then sweating profusely. My heart raced when I tried to stand upright. Daylight hurt my eyes, noise made all the symptoms even worse, and my entire skin hurt so much I couldn't even brush my hair. I felt confused and disorientated as I lay staring at the ceiling or curled up in the fetal position, waiting and expecting every day for normal life to return. My GP said he had seen this before and desperately hoped it wasn't ME. He said he would support me but knew little about it, and there was nothing he could do. There was no effective treatment, there was no cure. He referred me to many other consultants. Some said it was all in my head. It was depression or anxiety, and I just needed to exercise and try harder. After being completely bedbound for about a year, I did start to improve, but I didn't understand what was going on. I tried so hard to fight my way out of ME. I had a family to look after, I had a career, and I had a life to live. Unfortunately, no doctor I had turned to for help was aware of the risks of overexertion and didn't know to warn me against the multiple attempts to push myself back to work. Instead, that pushed me into severe ME, leaving me bedbound for another 7 years. I learned the hard way about the defining feature of the disease, post-exertional malaise. That is, a worsening of all symptoms on minimal physical or mental exertion. But it was too late as the irreversible damage was done. The horrendous symptoms of ME remain with me to this day, and I am now forced to live within my severely reduced energy envelope, 21 years on from sudden, barely induced onset ME. I wish all medical professionals would consider reading just one educational booklet, the Adult and Pediatric International Consensus Primer, by experts who have treated more than 50,000 patients. Our lives could be transformed through this short educational tool. I wish the medical profession was properly educated about ME.
I've always felt as a mum, my job is to protect my child and help them live their best life. But when your precious child is suffering and they ask you when they are going to get better, to be like their friends, but you know you can't help them, the pain is devastating.
As a doctor with unexplained fatigue, it just didn't cross my mind that it could be ME. I had been taught ME was a condition whose very existence was debated.
Yeah, I was a charge nurse for 20 years at the Royal Victoria Hospital in Belfast, and one day I was unwell and I eventually got a diagnosis that I had ME. That was 27 years ago. It's unbelievable to think about that. I was a health professional, but I was accused of faking my illness. It made me feel sad and disappointed that I had to fight to be believed, even though I don't even mention that I have ME, because people, doctors, they just treat me differently.
I'm a teacher. I haven't been able to work since developing ME 8 years ago. I wish old-fashioned convalescence was still standard advice. Exercise and optimism just don't help when the body really needs rest. I wonder now whether I might have recovered if I'd been advised to properly rest in the early stages.
I miss running, reading and learning new things. I wish the doctors understood why I get confused and tired all the time.